everybody, and welcome once again. It's Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and you are watching Over an ADHD memoir in the making with me, Jason Robert Leclaire. On this week's episode, what I'm doing is I'm really working toward inking and starting some coloring on the last page we did in the last few weeks, which was penciling and thumbnail sketching. So, kind of a look at most of the process that I do. So I've taken the sketch that I went ahead and created last week and scanned it and placed it onto Procreate on my iPad. Now, the beautiful thing about Procreate is that it actually records stroke for stroke what I am doing as I'm drawing. Don't worry, you don't have to watch hours of footage. It's condensed down to 3.5 minutes. And I'll be walking you through 3.5 minutes of the tips, the tricks, the foibles, the little things that I did not get right the first time and had to kind of revise. It's sort of an open book on this one. Really, pardon the pun on that one. I'm so sorry that came out. But if you caught the trailer that we had earlier this week, which I'll check on at the end just for the heck of it, I am currently in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm at the Graphic Medicine International Conference 2026 at Johns Hopkins University. I brought along with me zines of I Was a Teenage Rage Beast so that I can go ahead and show people what over looks like in sort of a comic view. And on top of that, I'm bringing postcards that link to the website where you can find over with everybody's favorite, the ADHD manifestations page with the carnival barker in the middle. While I'm there, I'm hoping that I make some connections and can go ahead and get this book out into the world so that folks like me who are late diagnosed ADHD adults and those that love them can go ahead and give it a read and hopefully find something relatable in the text. But until that happens, I'm going to keep pushing it forward as much as I can. And in this case, it's a trip down to Maryland, back and forth in about 36 hours. And I'm really hoping that we get some traction on this. So, wish me luck. Check out Graphic Medicine, where they're spotlighting I Was a Teenage Rage Beast on their main home page. So follow that link. Let's go. So as you can see, I start with the scan and then I start filling in with, in this case, I'm using more of like a vector brush on this. The reason being is because in this particular panel, it's the imp or impulsive behaviors that is speaking directly with me as an adult. So in all the sequences that have me as an adult, I try to use a really more graphic oriented look, something with block colors and block shading, as well as, just really tight line work. However, whenever I'm doing anything that comes before that, that's part of my teenage life specifically, I try to kind of mimic some of the way that I drew when I was a teenager. And that is with pencil. I loved doing pencil. So I have a rough kind of pencil slash marker looking brush that I use during this. And I'm blocking out all of the sections that are going to need straight outlines. Oh, and there we go. So what I'm doing now is I have a sketchbook page of all the things I wanted to put in the kind of nightmare that the young me is having. And so I'm taking that sketchbook page and I've scanned it and I'm popping it in all different sections. And as you can see, I'm changing things in the sketch and with the sketch as I go along by erasing, replacing, grabbing things, resizing them, or just completely changing the whole thing over. So for this portion, I know it looks kind of weird, but there's a point at which I remember my parents telling me a story that I actually, as a baby, threw up in my dad's mouth, um, because he was throwing me up in the air after I had eaten, and my mother kept saying, Bobby, don't throw him up in the air. He's going to get sick. And lo and behold, I get sick right in dad's mouth, and it was very uncomfortable for him. For me, I didn't know. Also, this hand gave me a lot of trouble that's hanging off the bed. I don't know why, but it did. So the backgrounds of my pages are done in a dark gray in this particular story. And the reason why is because I want things to pop, like really jump off the page when I start putting in colors. And so I'm grabbing and repeating shapes. That's a drawing from one of the earlier pages with me running away. And so in this nightmare, that's a background. I've got the imp, really demonic, in that upper right hand corner. And I'm placing words inside the wings that are all the insults that I was getting and prompts that I was getting from the imp to actually go and run away, and et cetera, et cetera. And you can see me using different brushes in here to create different effects, blocking in some of the color as I go forward. And then I'm going to pretty much wrap up this section of it, and I'll get back to it at some other point, probably during the week, maybe while I'm in Baltimore.
Yay, let's go!
Wow. So actually, that was me doing the voiceover. Because if anybody knows me, I make crazy voices. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next week on Saturday again at 9 a.m. Come tune in on YouTube, and we'll see you soon.